Hello everyone and welcome back to the Digital YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about the key differences between teaching on Udemy and Skillshare. I started teaching across both about 4 or 5 months ago, and I thought, how different could they really be? They both market themselves as marketplaces, and the functionality as a teacher or instructor is pretty much the same, but there are quite a few subtleties and nuances that I think would be helpful just to be aware of when you're going into this instructor journey up front. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Megs, and every week I release tech tutorials helping you do digital better. So the absolute first consideration when it comes to teaching across the two platforms is that Skillshare typically has much shorter courses. So because people are not paying per course, remember they would be a premium member, so they will be paying a fixed amount every month and they can access all the content they like. So think of it almost as like the Netflix for e-learning. So you do not need to make 16 hours worth of content to try and justify the price point on your course, regardless of how long or short your course is. It doesn't really matter. If someone's interested in that topic, they're likely to watch it. Whereas on Udemy, of course, because you're comparing a bunch of different courses in a highly competitive marketplace, you want to get the most bang for your buck as a consumer. So you are likely to choose something with a lot of hours of video content. So I'm actually maybe a little bit different in terms of how I learn, because I prefer learning on platforms like YouTube, and I'm used to that shorter kind of format of learning because I feel like it gets straight to the point. Whereas with Udemy, I kind of battle with some of the courses that I've bought. They're just too long. So I think, as with anything, you kind of have to find your middle ground as an instructor. So obviously you want to be giving people value for money, specifically on Udemy, but I mean across both platforms. And Skillshare, I mean, you can get away with a course that's, let's say, half an hour long, whereas on Udemy, I probably wouldn't suggest doing anything much less than 90 minutes. I have uploaded a 1-hour masterclass, and I think that that's one of the reasons why it's performed way better on Skillshare than what it has on Udemy, for example. The second consideration is topic. So I thought that people were joking when they said that Skillshare instructors would like live in downtown New York and teach you typography, but turns out there is a little bit of truth to this. So you can definitely get the feeling from Skillshare that it's a lot more creative courses. Of course, they don't explicitly say, well, this is a marketplace for creativity, because they want people to create a broader range of topics. But the reality is that I think for anything that's B2B focused, kind of very developmentally led, maybe Skillshare is not the platform. However, there is a part of me that feels like it's so competitive now on Udemy to get to those top spots, especially for highly kind of competitive keywords like development or specific developmental languages, that there is a part of me that thinks it would be worth a shot to give both kind of a go and just see which does better. But in terms of the content that's on the platforms, you'll definitely find that the business stuff is more on the Udemy side versus on Skillshare. So number 3 is the format of the courses. So you very much find that Skillshare is video only or 99% video led. So there's not a lot of opportunity to upload additional resources or link out. So the one thing they are very strict about is not directing traffic anywhere else. So I think you're only allowed to, for example, mention that you're a YouTuber, like at the very beginning and the very end of your course, and you can't reference it in the middle really, because they see that as self-promotion. You also cannot have branding anywhere for Skillshare. So they definitely want to keep the traffic within the platform and have most of that be video content. Whereas Udemy, I get the sense that they're a little bit more relaxed. You can upload content, you can upload PDFs, you can do kind of more as you would on a Teachable sort of platform or learner management platform. That maybe some of you guys are more familiar with. But just to bear in mind, Skillshare is very video focused, and I would say that even the quality of videos tends to be a lot better on Skillshare. So Udemy, maybe you can get away a little bit more with like screen sharing and that sort of thing. But Skillshare, particularly if you watch their staff picks and their originals, it's like beautiful, almost Netflix quality video, which is a little bit daunting when you're just getting started as an instructor. Then the fourth thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that on Skillshare, you have no idea if your course is going to be popular. So Udemy actually has something called Marketplace Insights, which is great for first-time instructors because it's basically going to show you the competitiveness of that niche as well as what the demand is. And also something that they share that's so cool is they share what your top instructors are earning. So in a perfect world, you would be looking for a niche that is not competitive with high demand and then a high earning of a instructor. So that's saying that there's money in this market. One of my favorite marketing quotes is actually, there might be a gap in the market, but is there a market in the gap? So it's just because there's a gap doesn't necessarily mean that you should fill it, is I think what that's trying to say. And it's kind of the same here. So you also don't want to get to the point that you're just kind of like keyword stuffing in a way because you're just looking for keywords that are going to rank well and that aren't super competitive. And then are you actually making the course that you want to make? So I found with Skillshare, it's kind of liberating because you just feel like you're kind of like giving birth to this unicorn and then hoping for the best. But in some ways that is better because across both platforms, it does seem like the more volume of courses you have, obviously your risk is spread. You're not relying on one course to hit the big time. You are giving yourself a fair chance, essentially. So, I mean, most people talk about having 10 plus courses. Of course, that is scary when you're first getting started, but to give you an indication, I'm on my third course on Skillshare and Udemy, and I'm kind of slowly creeping my way up. So I think volume of courses and then using the analytics, but not getting paralyzed by that. I hope that that makes sense. In terms of the revenue models for the two platforms, they work completely differently. So Udemy, I think if they get you the lead or the traffic, I'm pretty sure they take about 97% of the cut. It's crazy. Whereas with Skillshare, essentially what they do is they allocate a portion of their total revenue. So let's say it's 60%, they will allocate that revenue to the teachers or online instructors. And then if your course has attributed for 1% of the total premium minutes watched on the whole platform, you will get paid 1% of that revenue pool. So it's not like YouTube where you can quite accurately see like a CPM or just kind of reliably predict what your earnings are going to be. It's kind of a ongoing, evolving thing where it depends how good the month that Skillshare is having, and it depends how good of a month you're having in that month and what they're prepared to pay at that time. So I will say that it seems to pay really well for premium minutes, but then the best part of Skillshare, or what I really love, is that you earn $10 per referral link. So every time someone signs up through your referral link, you get $10, which means at the moment, I would say that probably 50% of my revenue is actually coming from referrals and not just premium minutes watched. With Udemy, if someone uses your referral code, you just get a much larger portion of the course sale. But again, it depends how you're kind of striving to structure your course, because where something like Udemy will invariably win is through something like Black Friday, where you're aiming for a high volume at a low price point. So there it's brilliant because it's already a discount site, and apparently sales are incredible on Black Friday because it's like the discount day of the year. So I guess that's also something just to bear in mind. In terms of uploading the courses, I'd say that it's very straightforward on both platforms to upload your course. I think the one thing that maybe is a little bit different on Udemy is I believe they do have a bulk uploader, whereas Skillshare, you upload the courses one by one, although if they're all in the same folder, you can just kind of drag and drop and they will upload simultaneously. So that's not really a problem. And they walk you through the journey. Both of them provide amazing resources to let you know how to improve your courses. What are some of the ways that you can enhance the production quality of your courses? So I wouldn't say that one is superior over the other. The one thing that was a little bit weird about Skillshare was I initially had a branded logo in the bottom right-hand corner of my slides, and my first course was disapproved as a result. And when I was engaging with this bot, which what I obviously thought was a person, was like not understanding what I was saying at all. I was like, is this person like speak English? Like, how is this happening? But obviously a lot of their customer service is done through bots. So I was trying to say, I've removed the logo, can you please reapprove? And then it was saying something completely different. I can't even remember. But yeah, something to bear in mind is obviously to try and avoid like any of that back and forth in the approval process, because it just ends up in your course being delayed. I think mine was delayed maybe by 2 weeks in its launch, and that's obviously 2 weeks of lost revenue. I can't comment on Udemy, although there is a lot more kind of certification that you need to do, like tax clearance and that sort of thing. Whereas with Skillshare, because it's done through PayPal, I guess the onus kind of sits with PayPal as opposed to Skillshare, I'm guessing. So that's a whole lot easier. However, and I've referenced this in one of my previous videos, but PayPal is interesting if you're in South Africa, so pay attention if you're a SAFA. But basically in South Africa, you're not allowed to keep money in your PayPal. You actually have to release it as soon as you receive it. So once I get my Skillshare payout on the 15th of each month, I actually have to release the money, I think it's within 31 days, into my bank account. So that's fine, but I had huge problems just trying to link my PayPal with my standard bank account. So it's much easier if you work on FNB and you're in South Africa, because they are the South African representation for PayPal. But Udemy, I think, is a bit more straightforward. It's just the whole PayPal shmushmotion with Skillshare that was a little bit tricky for me. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you guys found it insightful. As I say, it's no easy kind of task to say if someone's going to prefer one from the other, but with regards to their promotional guidelines, provided both sets of content are pay gated, you can have exactly the same content across both platforms if you want to, and many people do that. I think, however, for the best results, you would need to tailor it per platform. So where, for example, Skillshare wants you to do more kind of project-based stuff, you kind of want to tailor your content around that. You don't want it to seem like an afterthought. And then same with the Udemy, with, as I said, it being quite a lot longer, requiring more resources in terms of uploaded PDFs and that obviously has an impact. So maybe go for the one that feels most natural and then give the other one a shot just as kind of a sideline. But probably you're going to see that the one performs way better for you, in which case maybe you can focus your energy there. Or you can just kind of accept that maybe you'll get 10% of your revenue from one and 90% from the other. So I definitely wouldn't exclude one from the other. And it's worth giving both a shot, as I said. But I hope you guys found today's video helpful. I cannot wait to see you in our next video next week, so that we can continue to do digital growth. I can help you out. I can help